I remember when I first walked into the club, and when I first came to the club, I was 15 years old. And I walked in, and prior to that, I was a scout. I was 5 merit badges away from having my Eagle rank. And I came to the club on a buddy night. And I walked in the door, and I just stopped dead in my tracks. Even at 15 years of age, I knew this was something I'd never seen before. There was every size, every color, every socioeconomic background kid having fun at the boys club. And I thought, holy cow, this is a special place. And then I started working here when I was 16 years old. So this September will be 50 years that I've been here at the club. And when I walk in the club now, I stand there sometimes and I think, wow, this is a special place. For 50 years, that feeling has not gone away.
So having fun, getting ready for Hooked on Hard Water, waiting for the boys.
Skipping that name until it was mid-June, I suppose. I was at the gas station filling up my truck, and I looked across on the other side of the pump, and there was this guy kind of looking at me with an awkward smile. When you're 6'3" and kind of obnoxious, I get a lot of awkward smiles, so it was nothing new, so I just avoided eye contact and went back to fill up my truck. And it wasn't until I was done and got my receipt that I was walking back to my pickup, and the guy just says, "Oiler." You know, crap, now the guy knows me, so I gotta pretend I know him. So I turned around and just gave him the fake, "Hey, how you doing?" And then he said something that made me realize exactly who he was. He says, "How's your dad doing? Is he still at the boys club?" And instantly, I knew who this guy was. As a child growing up, my dad would always, we fished all the time. We spent a lot of time in the outdoors. And on a lot of fishing trips up to Deerfield, where we were today, he would include boys from the boys club. And to this day, I don't know if I was included in on a trip with the boys, or if we were just on a family trip and he included them. But this young man, well, he was my age, so we're going to go with young man. He would come along on a lot of these trips. And for me as a kid growing up, that meant two things when we had boys from the club. It meant that we always stopped and got treats because normally we never would, but you know, now I know that that was probably the only treats these kids would get, so we'd get pop and candy. But it also meant that I had someone to play with if the fishing was slow. So anyway, as soon as I realized who he was, I gave him a big hug and we talked. And I was asking, you know, how work was or what he was doing, and if he was married. And he was a proud husband and a proud dad. And he instantly pulled out his phone and he started showing me pictures of his sons. And I think his oldest son was 12, so he showed me a picture of his son's first deer. And then he showed me pictures of the family out on the ice fishing. And then he showed me on a camping trip to the Bighorns. And he had several pictures, and I kind of smiled and I said, well, that's really cool, you know, you spend a lot of time in the outdoors. And then he started to tear up a little bit. And he said, do you realize that if it wasn't for your dad and the Club for Boys, I would have never got involved with any of this. He goes, my mom was single, she couldn't afford the clothes on her back, and she goes, we never would have been exposed to any of this. And that hit me hard. I mean, it really hit me hard, thinking that, you know, here this guy is so passionate about the outdoors, and he readily admits that he never would have gotten involved with it. And he just said, you know, growing up, he goes, I was a good kid. I wasn't going to end up on drugs or end up dead or in jail or anything like that. But he said, my life is better because of the things your dad taught me. And he goes, now I can pass that on to my kids, and I have a wife and a family that enjoys the outdoors as much as I do. It made me realize that we left out a pro. And so, every pro needs a jersey, so Dave Wheeler, if you would come up and get yourself.
My goal is always to make people cry, not for me to cry.
Just so you know, my goal was to make him cry.
Good job. I was just saying earlier, how come I didn't get one of these? So now I know why. You know, to hear Craig talk about that, I know that, and I guess that's why this is such an important event to me, because I know what it's like when kids don't get the opportunity to do things like this, when they have no choice, they don't get to do those things. And I can only echo what Craig said. I mean, I love these guys. They made a big difference for the last 3 years. Even that short amount of time, they make a huge difference in the lives of our boys. My boys, and I thank you for that, and I thank you for this so much. Thank you.